Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson. Down for the day, just barely though. Really, yeah, just barely. A big red candle in the middle of the day. So, here come the bears. No, not really. There's nothing broken here, guys. Nothing broken. Now, what have we seen that would give us, I don't know, give the bears at least something to sniff about, if nothing else? And that would be a break of this blue line. All right, we've been watching this blue line. Look how well it's held. Now we have had a couple of dips below it. So is this dip below it a big major signal? No, but it is a signal that something could be happening here down the road. What's the other signal? Starting to break the 50-period moving average. That is held very nicely. Starting to get got a break of that today, a retest and hold. But overall, what we're seeing here is we are still trapped in this little range here. I talked about 10,650 and 10,900. We did see a little bit of a fake out up here. This is why I've been bullish, but cautiously bullish. And he breaks up over this area here. 10,875 made for a great trade. I'm not going to say a great trade. It made for a trade. How about that? You would have had to be very cautious. This thing moved up another 75 points, came screaming right back down again. So got to know when to take your profits and run. That's why it's so difficult to trade when it's choppy like this. Do you stay in? Do you not stay in? Do you let it go? Do you not let it go? How do you play it? It ran up. It came back down. It did hold for a period of time, but then eventually did fall back to the downside. So very difficult trading in through here. You can pull a little bit of money off the table here and there. But man, you got to be really nimble. You got to know what you're doing. I've been bullish. I've been cautiously bullish, and I would continue to stress that to you. Don't stay bullish, that's great, but stay cautiously bullish here. Cautiously bullish. If we just flip to the daily, you can see what we're looking at. It's all sideways action. This is still a high base. We are kind of starting to break this little 10,800 level, which has me a little bit, well, maybe there's an opportunity here for the bears, but far from any kind of major sign. Still no major sign here. Love that 10,650 mark. Then we're coming back into all these moving averages. So we still got a lot of work to do if you're bearish on this market. We still got a lot of work to do if you're bullish on this market. It's just waiting for the next major break. We did see a big move down midday, but it means nothing. It finished the day basically break even and finished the month, as it is right now, very strong. Look at this. All of September, it's littered with a couple of red candles, but overall, very, very strong move by the markets. So, is October going to turn around and dash to the downside? Man, I would not get yourself amped up for that. Let the markets tell you which direction to go. Just let it work its magic. It's worked so far. Let it continue to do that. All right, moving on to the NDX. This did the same thing. Moving sideways here, still chopping with no real overall direction, just like the rest of the market. Above 2020, yeah, for a little while, then right back down again. So we still see some selling pressure coming in here. These little moves, by the way, work as beautiful bull traps if they stick. They work as beautiful bull traps. Get this above a major level in the market, and then pow, suck it right back down again and trap all those people that think, here we go. No, we don't. And all of a sudden they're trapped in a position that they just don't want to be in. Now, what are they doing? Either A, they got out and said, okay, forget it, I'll just wait until another entry comes. Or B, they're going to go ahead and go, well, this thing's bullish, I'm just going to go ahead and hold. Boy, there's a account waiting to be blown up. So you got to be very cautious of that. Have your stops in place, guys. If it reaches a certain level, you got to be able to just say whatever and cut your losses and get out. If it breaks this level right here, this big green line about 1970, you got no business being long the market at that point. You need to wait for further confirmation if you want to go long. So I'd be watching that very closely if you're in any one of these trades, whether it's the Dow, the NASDAQ, I don't care, the S&P, whatever. Okay, if you're in any of those trades, you got to be watching these more major levels and recognizing when it's time to just cut your losses if you're in a bad trade, that is, if you're in a bad trade. So I should probably have another line drawn in here, and that'd be right around that 19, I'd probably end up fitting right in around 1990 1995-ish level. So there's another level you can kind of add to your mental support resistance lines. Overall, just another down day. Now, yeah, okay, bearish, engulfing, whatever, blah. Okay, wait for these more major levels before we really start getting one way or the other on the markets. Nasdaq below 1975. Okay, now the bears are maybe looking at a little larger pullback. Otherwise, anything moving to the upside, 2050. Anything above 2025, just looking at that 2050 mark again. From a weekly standpoint, too, we got one day to go, but you can see this just putting in kind of a sideways candle at this point. I am really going to reserve judgment until tomorrow's close. This could be a big white candle. This could be a large red candle before it's all over with. Sometimes I get to talking about these weekly candles on Thursday, and they look completely different by the end of Friday, which was evident by last week, where we had what was appearing to be a gravestone doji come about Thursday and ended up being a big white candle by the end of Friday. So let's just wait and analyze that at the end of the day. SPX on a 60-minute bouncing sideways. We got that break above 1150. Good place to take a little bit of a speculative long play there. It is a good break. Look, good strong break above 1150. Got people in, but notice it hit that 1157 mark. Pow, right back down again. Market's having none of it. So, once again, a great bull trap if it sticks. If it sticks. This is a great bull trap. This will have a lot of people thinking, it's all right, it'll come back. Sometimes they just never do, and you're like, oh, dang it. So be cautious. If you're still in this thing to the long side, breaks back and above 1150, you're probably going to be okay, or could work out very well for you. Might be another opportunity to try another long if it gets back above that area. Otherwise, these more major levels down here, 1130, 1125, are really the areas to be watching here to the short side. Got to be very careful, though, from a daily perspective. My line's off, by the way, guys. Stock Charts has a problem with this. I really wish they'd fix this, but we'll have it coming into next week anyway. However, on a daily, you can see us. It's just sideways action. We're just chopping around sideways here. Big move down midday. Got a lot of people thinking, maybe, and we didn't go anywhere. Everything kind of stalled. So not really going anywhere, moving sideways, looking for more major breaks below these areas, 1135-ish maybe, for a speculative short there, into these lower areas as well. I'd be very cautious. We're coming into some pretty heavy support here, so just keep your eyes. As these days progress, this 20 is really creeping up on us fast. So some of these trades that were like below 1130, a little bit more risky now because of these moving averages below us. So 1135, and then maybe I'd wait till a break of this 200 again before I started looking to the short side on the SPX. From a weekly, we'll wait till tomorrow to see what we've got, but so far so good, hanging above that 1125 overhead resistance, which should act now as support. VIX on a daily was up, and up quite a bit here at one time. You see how it tagged the top of this blue line? I've said this before, I'm not a big TA guy on the VIX, but man, it is really hard to ignore the fact that this is working really well up here. So we had a high of about 2450 before it pulled back by the end of the day. And you got to look at it as just that. Until it breaks this blue line, it's nothing more than what could be construed as maybe a bear flag in here. I don't know if I want to make a pattern out of it, but as long as it stays within these two blue lines, there's nothing to really be worried about one way or the other in the markets. There's just not a lot of fear pouring into the market at this point. We're also stuck for the week below the 50-week moving average right on the VIX itself. Overall, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 candles ago, we had the big drop in fear, and we really haven't gone anywhere since then. It's still sideways. Look at the bigger picture. Still sideways. Apple on a 60-minute, down again, another $3.62, but all this is doing at this point is just setting up a bear flag. Doesn't mean we can't go down a little bit more. Watch this 280 level. Talked about that. We talked about 285. We talked about 280. Even more than ever now, watch that 280 level because it does break this blue trend line I've got in here, and that should be support. So watch closely that 280 level, but any break to the downside still has to be looked at as a pullback, and we might be looking at something into 275 or 270 maybe, depending on where this all settles. But I'd be looking for maybe a drop. If it gets below 280, maybe it falls back into there, and then we'll reevaluate where Apple's going in the future. But at this point, these candles down, even though, yes, they are pretty major, especially Fat Finger Day here. These drops are pretty major. But in the grand scheme of things, look at this. I mean, 235 to 295. $60 move, and now we're down a whopping 10 bucks. So put it in perspective. 60 bucks up with a $10 move down. Certainly no reason to get bearish. Nothing's broken here from a bull side. Below 280 maybe takes you back to right around here at 277, I think is where this line resides. That one you might want to watch, or maybe 275 for sure. A pullback to the 20 sure wouldn't be out of the question, but watch that very closely. From a weekly too, still holding above the 275 level. We'll see where that finishes tomorrow. Here you can see the move up with the drop down. Opportunities to make a little money intraday, but no major breaks yet for us to really get in. Above 22 was your opportunity, but like everything else, it broke that upper level only to be pulled right back down. So we'll see if it'll hold. It's stuck between the 20 and the 50. We're getting breaks one way or the other, but until we really get a close, no real direction. Same thing here. Look how we're just hammering away at this overhead area. 1350 got hit again, and yesterday wasn't able to hold. Today we ran right back up to it again. We get a break above that 1350, 1360. I still like it to the long side, and then below this, what did we hit? 1272. Yeah, below 1275. I still like that for maybe an opportunity to the short side. Other than that, guys, still chop action right here. Wait for a more major break before you take that plunge. Good intraday action, bad swing trading action right here. We'll wait for a more major break, and then we'll hit it from there. Okay, be back with you tomorrow in a weekend video, the Friday video. Wrap things up for the week, and I guess we'll see you then. Bye.